जब
popular
हम
phrase
उसकी
is
फुल
little
परफॉर्मेंस के
knowledge
साथ
is
उसका यूज़ कर
dangerous
सकते हैं।
knowledge,
तो
and
सवाल अब ऐसे में
don't
उठता है
judge
कि
the
क्या
book by its
हम
cover.
सुपर माइंड की
So,
स्थिति
how
तक
do you
पहुंच
weigh
सकते
these
हैं? क्या
expressions
हम सेल्फ
when we
रियलाइजेशन
think of
जैसी
the
स्थिति तक
concept
पहुंच
of
सकते हैं, या फिर
first
क्या हम
impressions?
आत्म
As
साक्षात्कार
I
तक वाकई
understand
में
it,
पहुंच
first
सकते हैं?
impressions are
कुछ ऐसे सवाल
mental
आपके दिमाग में
images
उठ
that
रहे
we
होंगे, तो मैं
create
आपको बता दूं कि
when we
यस,
see someone
हम
or
पहुंच
hear
सकते
someone
हैं,
and the
लेकिन वो
first
हम
interaction
पहुंचेंगे
that we
कैसे,
have with
क्या
that
मार्ग होगा,
person.
क्या रास्ता
So,
होगा? तो
and
चलिए, इस
it's
बारे
also
में मैं आपको
possible
कोई
that our
रिलीजियस
first
पर्सपेक्टिव से कुछ
impressions
नहीं
are
बोलने
wrong.
वाला। आज मैं
So,
आपको
are
इस वीडियो
first
में बिल्कुल
impressions
साइंटिफिक
something which
पर्सपेक्टिव से,
confuse
बिल्कुल
your
प्योर
mind,
साइंस
or
एंड
is
लॉजिक
it
के बेसिस
something which
समझाने
gives you
वाला हूँ कि ये
initial
सब चीज़ें
clarity?
क्या हैं
So,
और हम वहाँ तक
and
कैसे पहुँच
why
सकते
is
हैं।
it that, I mean, how do we
दोस्तों, ये
control our
कंसेप्ट
mind from racing
That's
काफ़ी
a
to
बड़ा
these
है,
long
लेकिन मैं
question.
इसको
conclusions?
काफ़ी छोटे में समझाने के लिए आपको कुछ एग्जांपल की
Okay.
हेल्प से इस चीज़ को समझाने की कोशिश
You
करूँगा।
have heard of the
एक्चुअली
term
सोच करके देखिए,
love
जब
at first sight.
पहले जो ब्लैक एंड वाइट टीवी आते थे, तो होता क्या था उनमें कि जैसे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कम होती
So
चली
these
जाती
things
थी,
used this is a
तो उनका
English
जो डिस्प्ले
expression.
था, जो पर्दा था, वो
These
काफ़ी
things
छोटा
used to
होता चला
happen
जाता था, या फिर
when
जैसे
the
बिजली
genders had not
इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बढ़ने
met, they
लगती
were
थी, तो क्या होता था, उसका जो
secluded
पर्दा है वो
largely.
काफ़ी बड़ा होने लगता था,
So the
और
first
एक लिमिट के
time
बाद आप देखते थे
a
कि अगर
young
हम वोल्टेज
girl
से ज़्यादा
with her
इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कर देते
parents
थे,
in a
250 के
carriage,
आसपास, तो
she
उसका
was
जो पर्दा
going, and you
था
looked at her, she looked at you
टीवी
like
का हमारे,
this.
वो काफ़ी बड़ा हो जाता था, यानी
It's been
मैक्सिमम
a
से भी
long
बड़ा
time
हो
since you
जाता था।
saw a girl's face. Instantly, okay? But that doesn't happen anymore because they're always around you. You take your time, which is a good thing. So, I don't think you should make any impression of anything or anybody just by simply looking at it once, unless you have become such a mystic that if you see, you just know, okay? Why I'm saying this is, see, I spent a whole lot of my time and life just paying attention to things. Because when I was very young, I realized, when I was just 4.5 years of age, I realized I don't know anything. Because I don't know anything, I started paying attention to everything, smallest things. If I find a pebble, I will be looking at it for hours. If I find a leaf, I will be looking at it for many hours. If I sit on my bed in the darkness, I'm just staring at the darkness for the whole night. My dear father, being a physician, he started thinking, I need psychiatric evaluation. Because this boy is simply staring at something for hours on end without blinking, it looks like he's lost his mind. My problem is, I look at this and I don't know what this is, so I'm not able to shift my eyes to that, so I just stay with this. This went on like this, and in this condition they sent me to school. My mother said, you must pay attention to the teacher. I went and paid attention to the teacher. The kind of attention they would have never received in their life. About 9 years ago, this school where I studied almost 45 years ago, they invited me for their 125th anniversary. The trustees came to invite me. I said, see, why me? Because I was not just a not good student, I was not even a student. I only went to school when it was a must. Most of the time nobody noticed me and I just vanished somewhere. So I said, why me? I'm not a good example for your students. They said, our school has produced union ministers, our school has produced cricketing stars, film stars, you are the only mystic, you must come. I said, okay, and I went there. I stood up to speak in the quadrangle, I just looked around the same oppressive buildings. You have a fantastic, a campus. It's a fortune because it's not just about education, it's about living in a certain atmosphere is a very important thing for learning. So, these are city schools which are like that. Then I looked at this classroom and I suddenly remembered, I was just 12 years of age. One afternoon, the teacher is trying to get some response from me. Those days I'm made like this, for many days I won't utter a single word. When you don't know anything, what to say? I'm still trying to drink up the world, nothing to say. So this man is asking question, I'm just looking at him. After some time, I don't even hear what he's saying. If I look at him, I know his past, present and future. I can tell him everything about his life, but I don't know what the hell he's talking. Because I never listen to anybody, I just look at them. So, if you're able to look at people like that, then it's okay. Otherwise, definitely looking at the appearance of a person if you're making judgment, or appearance of a situation if you're making a judgment, especially you're going to be lawyers, by looking at what people are saying, if you make a judgment, they will be telling all kinds of stories to you. So you never make any impression. You need to delve into certain things. So whether it's individual people or situations, aspects of life or decisions we need to make, it's best that we get the maximum input out of whatever we are looking at, because otherwise we will go on regretting what we have done. People who spend time in regret, they won't do much in life because it consumes so much energy.
A related question, there's sometimes we have these certain instincts in us that direct us to do certain things, popularly known as gut feelings. So, do you think the youth must act on these gut feelings or should we reject it? What is your take on gut feelings and instincts?
There is something called as gut feeling and there is also something called as being shit scared, you know. So when people don't know which way to go, some things move in their gut. Don't understand always that as some kind of an intuition or some kind of an insight into life. Most people feel their guts only when you say he has guts, means what? His guts didn't move. So fear is considered gut feeling by a whole lot of people, don't go by that. But there is a certain… in the yogic culture, today modern science is also recognizing this, in the yogic culture, we identify a certain dimension of intelligence in the stomach. A certain dimension of intelligence means, if we have to… this is what I'm going to say is very simplistic. If you find loopholes, you ask question, otherwise I will pass, okay? If you ask questions, I will cover those loopholes, but because I'm saying it in such a brief manner, there will be loopholes. See, you eat a piece of bread, within a few hours, it gets transformed into a human being, isn't it so? Is it a tremendous amount of intelligence? Hello? If I can take a piece of bread in my hand and make this into a human being, who do you think I am? Hello? Creator himself, isn't it? Must be God. If I can take a piece of bread and make it into a human being, this is it. This you're doing in your stomach. Obviously, there is a certain dimension of intelligence. It is not in the form of thought, but it's a different it's not intellect, but it's an intelligence. Is there a way to access that intelligence? Yes. Even if a drop of that intelligence enters your life, you will do things magically, not miserably. If you do things only with your logic, everything becomes quite miserable because you will have to go through logical steps for everything. You will not know anything just by looking at it. So, it is important to develop that dimension of intelligence, but as I said, whenever there is confusion and fear, people will feel a pit in the stomach. That should not be understood as the gut, intelligence of the gut.
So Sadhguru, the next two, three questions revolve around this…
See, as a lawyer, you shouldn't warn me, what is the next question? You must shoot.
So the broad theme of the next two, three questions revolves around the concept of nationalism, of allegiance to the country. So my question basically concerns your response to Gautam Gambhir's question, wherein Gautam Gambhir was of the opinion that people should be compelled to stand up for the national anthem, and he was surprised as to how this was even a topic of debate. As I understand, you agreed with him, with the only qualifier being that if somebody is disabled, he should not be forced. And…
I'm not looking at it… please complete the question. I'm not looking at it so simplistic, but…
So, Sadhguru, my question is that should we not allow people to find out what their own interpretations of loyalty and allegiance are? I mean, we walk unaffected when women are raped. We walk unaffected when women are raped. We stop Dalits from entering public facilities. There are so many injustices that we do.
So we
but
can do
just-
one more.
No, I mean, just because we go to the cinema and before Gangs of Wasseypur we stand up for the national anthem, how does that become the criteria for having allegiance to the nation, of being a patriot to the nation?
Looks like it's a very popular question. See, let's look at it this way. A nation, when we say a nation, all nations on the planet are not in the same state of development, evolution, and social and other realities are not in the same state. Looking at India as a nation, we are trying to make this a nation. Still there is no real nation, because still a whole lot of people are identified with their caste, creed, many things, with their community, many things. Because we are yet to make a nation out of it. We should have done it early on after 1947, but we did not do that work properly. As you said, discrimination is there based on your caste. That means we've not made a nation yet. You are separate nation, I am separate nation, isn't it? Just because of your birth. So if you want to make this a nation, there are certain tools, certain symbols, certain acts, and anthem is one of them, that we are trying to make a nation out of this. And we are a nation where 500 million people have not eaten properly. Largest number of malnourished people on the planet, unfortunately in our country. Nearly 60% of rural population in India, their skeletal system has not grown to full size, they are all like this, compressed. Dissipated life, underdeveloped life we are generating. But we have debates about whether we should stand up or sit down when the anthem happens, all right?